Hi everybody, it's Kat from Cross Stitch Chaos. Apparently it's going to be a yearly thing where I come back and go, hi, haven't seen you for a while. But I decided that I wanted to go ahead and film a WIP parade. And also I wanted to make one last video in this location right here because we are moving. My husband and I bought a house last week, so the one we've been in for the last 8 years was a rental. And we just bought a house that was built in 1917. And I'm super excited to show it to you guys in my next video, so you can see all of my new stitching areas, and I'm going to have a dedicated craft room, and there's lots of natural light because it's an older house, so I'm really excited about that. We are in the middle of a blizzard here in Ohio. I'm still going to be living in Dayton, by the way. We're just moving kind of across town, but we're in the middle of a blizzard right now, so if you hear the wind, that's why. And our wind chill right now is, let's see, it was minus 42 earlier. We are currently at a wind chill of minus 29. So it's warmed up a little bit. Yeah. Actual air temperature is minus 3. That is Fahrenheit, so it's like even colder than that in Celsius for those of you who are international. I looked last night, it was like minus 18 Celsius. So yeah, it's really cold. Really cold. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is what Ohio winters are like. We got kind of spoiled the last couple winters where it wasn't super bad. We had snow at weird times, but we didn't have like the crazy, crazy cold. It's been a few years since we've had that. Alright, so I want to start out with showing you some of my finishes for the year. I feel like I'm missing some. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 finishes here in front of me. I feel like I had more. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. It's fine. So in my last video, I went back and looked at it just to see. Oh, by the way, here comes the kitten because my husband and I are insane. We now have 6 cats. This is Gracie. She's a demon. She's about 6 months old. And she's has to be involved in absolutely everything. She's worse than Candy. So in my last video, please don't knock my camera over. I mentioned that I was missing a WIP, but that I never actually went and got it. Well, that WIP is now a finish, so I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you. So this is the Edgar Allan Poe sampler. I have blanked on who it's by, so I will put it in the description. It is stitched on 32 count Lugana in Wise by Live and Die LA. It's this nice, beautiful blue-gray, showing up very true on the camera. I stitched it with all the called for colors. This was from a Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine many, 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 many years ago. I want to say it was 2011s, maybe 2013s. All of these words right here are 1/1. But yeah, it came out super cute. I love the kitty cat down here. I've been wanting to stitch this ever since I saw Christine, Every Stitch of Pleasure. She was working on this at the 2018 StitchCon, and I've wanted to do it ever since, so I'm glad that I did, and it's now a finish. Oh, if you didn't notice my Christmas nails, it is currently December 23rd, 2022, so we have that for the record. Alright, next one. This was almost finished the last time you saw it. This is Astronauts and Planets. It's going to roll up on the bottom. Astronauts and Planets by Cross Stitch For You on Etsy. There we go. These are all long stitches for the balloons. I may couch them down just because they like to curl up. This is stitched on 36 count linen in Galaxy by Mystic Fabrics. It's her original dye of Galaxy, so it looks a little bit different than her current Galaxy. One of the blues, I believe, is a discontinued dye, so she's had to change the formula a little. This was awful. Awful, awful, awful to stitch on. I always like to say I have young eyes. I'm 37, and I wear contacts for distance vision, but my close-up vision is very, very good. And this is the first time I've ever actually struggled with seeing the fabric. And I think it was the combination of the very dark dye and the opal, plus it being 36 count, which is smaller than I usually stitch on. And I just really struggled with it, and so I didn't work on it very often, and I finally was like, I've got to get this piece finished. This is ridiculous. So I did get that finished. All right, and then the other WIP that is a carryover from last year that is a finish. This is Anzac by Long Dog Samplers. Here it is. And this is stitched on 32 count linen in Fiery Skies by Under the Sea Fabrics, using DMC 823 and Color and Cotton Calliope. The Calliope is all of the variegated in the continents there. It's a little hard to see. That's the only thing I'm not a fan of. Is it's a little hard to see the continents, but I think it came out really cool. This was about half done last year, so I went ahead and I was like, no, I'm gonna focus. This was my focus on a finished piece, and I was like, I'm getting this done this year, and I got it done in, I want to say July. I'm like watching wind just blow across. It's so windy outside. We got, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 inches of snow, but it's like piling up in drifts, and then like you can see the grass in other areas. All right, so this was a start and finish this year. This is the Ukraine Solidarity Sal from 1 Point Mind, stitched on 18 count Aida, 2/2, or 2/1 rather. Just some crunchy white Aida I had in my stash, probably from Walmart. I did put words around the outside. Those are not charted. I saw that on Witchy Stitcher, in the Witchy Stitcher group. Somebody had done that, and I asked permission to borrow their idea, and she said absolutely. So I added some kind of inspirational quotes from Ukrainians during the beginning of the war. I did start this back in February. I just needed something to put my mind towards. I don't personally know anyone in Ukraine other than stitchers that I've met through the Flosstube and Instagram community, but it does weigh heavily in my mind, and I wish there was more that I could do. But being in the US instead of Europe, it's very hard to really contribute to the effort in any way. So that was my way of sending peaceful thoughts to the people of Ukraine. Next one is another start and finish. I showed this as a possibility for a start for this year on my video last year, and I don't know, I just got in the mood and did it. And then it stitched up really quickly. And this is, yes, I really do need all these cats. And this is on 28 count? No, this is 32. This is 32 count Unipoo from Mystic Fabrics. The black cat here obviously has green eyes. They were charted as yellow, but my black cat Loki has green eyes, so I recharted it. All the wording is in Regal by Live and Die LA. I don't know how well it's going to come across on the camera. It's a very deep purple, very subtle variegation in it, but it is definitely purple, not black. Very pretty color. Ironically, I finished this before we got Gracie, when we had 5 cats. Now we have 6, because yes, we really do need all these cats. We do still have my German Shepherd. She's currently in her crate, because I am currently living in Mount Boxmoor, because that's what happens when you move, and I can't leave her outside because it is just too daggone cold. So in the interest of not having her create a catastrophe in my video, she's in her crate. She is now about to be 2 years old, and not any less insane than she was in the last video. She's still absolute spaz. All right, next one, another start and finish for this year. This is Monk's Hood by Nora Corbett. She's the same designer as Mirabilia. This is from the Poison Pixies. It's the first one that I've seen it actually washing out the fabric a little bit. It's a purpley blue. Hi, Oscar. It's a very purpley blue fabric. It is 28 count Winter Solstice by Mystic Fabrics. Apparently I had a lot of Mystic Fabrics this year. Oscar. Dude. Back up. Oscar. There we go. Yeah, he's just gonna be there. I did have to substitute out one of the beads, the brighter of the pink that like goes up around her wings right here. I did buy this with the bead pack. I bought it on Stash Unload. and it came with the bead pack, but somewhere along I lost one of the colors of beads, and I didn't feel like spending $5 to reorder these beads and waiting until after New Year's. I was like, I want to get her done. So I just dug through my stash, and those are some beads that I had in my jewelry making stuff, and they were very similar, right tone of pink, and I just called it a day. Oh, let me unroll her so I can show you her details. So her skin is stitched 1/1 because that's how I roll. You can see, and Oscar's knocking things off now. No, you can see all the beads in the bottom of her skirt and around her wings. She's really pretty. She stitched so quickly. I only had like the main section here in the middle finished. Like literally the main part of her dress and like this top part of her skirt is all I had done at the beginning of December. And so I finished her up in December. And so there she is. All right. Now, I have multiple boxes and scroll frames and everything else over here. So I'm going to start with the scroll frames just because they're like the biggest and the hardest to get to. I did get a page finish on each of my full coverages this year, or more. Some of them had multiple page finishes. I'm going to have to move this one a little bit because you're not going to be able to see the page I actually finished unless I scroll it some. All right, so this is Wisdom, artwork by Sherry Gerhardt, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, stitched 2/2 or 2/1 on 25 count, easy count Lugana. I did finish this page here. This is the one that I was working on last year. It is the only page I finished on this piece, and then I started on this page down here. I want to say I put about 3,000 or 4,000 stitches in this piece this year. I would really like to give it some more love. This was like insane confetti and like every color of brown that DMC makes. And now I'm back over here. I'm taking all of my full coverages that I had started and kind of turning them into the diagonal page finishes like Jessie Marie does. I love that. I love that style. So this one I had started doing the page finishes across, and I did them in like blocks of 2 pages across. So I'm going to come down here, work on this one down here. Then I'm going to come up here and finish this one, and then I'll start doing my diagonal pages. This piece has 6 pages done out of, I believe, 32. It is sitting at around 17% completed. And I believe it is my highest completion percentage full coverage currently. So that's pretty exciting. Actually, let me go ahead and pull out my tablet and I can tell you for sure which ones have how much on them. Because Pattern Keeper, I don't want to connect to a Wi-Fi, thanks. No, skip. I don't want to connect to Wi-Fi. I don't keep my tablet connected to Wi-Fi generally. Just because there's no reason to. I'll connect it to Wi-Fi just to download patterns onto it from my Google Drive. Whenever I'm adding a new pattern to it. Okay, Wisdom. It is 12, no, hang on, it's still loading. 18.08% finished. And it has 47,000 stitches completed out of, I'm holding it upside down. It's like I forgot how to do this, guys, sorry. 47,000 stitches completed out of 252,000. 18.08%. So, it's pretty exciting. Okay, next big scroll frame. I've been moving everything to Q-snaps just because I can use them with my Lowry easier, but some of them I am leaving on scroll frames. This one is staying on a scroll frame just because it is a chatelaine, and it is going to have like massive amounts of beads and everything else, and I don't want to get creases in it from having it on a Q-snap. So this is my chatelaine. This is Polar Beauty Mandala. I'm stitching this center section. It is, I'm doing the charting in that is 1/1. I have finally made it to the far side of this. This is a beast to stitch. Holy cow, there's just so many stitches in it. I've not done anything but the DMC 1/1 yet in my chatelaine, which is kind of sad. I would really like to actually get some done on there. I would say that center part is 3/4 done, if not a little more. I will finish that next year. That is one of my goals, so that I can actually start working on the specialty stitches. I do have the bead pack for it, and all of it is fully kitted. I kitted it myself. I bought the bead pack from European Cross Stitch, and then I kitted all the floss myself. Next shadowing that I do, I will be just buying the full kit. It didn't save me any money to kit it myself, and it was a little difficult to chase down all the threads, so. Okay, last scroll frame for now. There will be another scroll frame coming soon with my new year start, but because she'll go on the frame that I just emptied from Monk's Hood. All right, this still has I'm apparently in the middle of a thread with it. I don't know why I stopped in the middle of a thread, but this is Celtic Snow by Northern Expressions Needlework. I started this at retreat in 2021. I only had like one of the spikes of the snowflake done. This is the center portion of the snowflake. Currently I have only stitched in Dinky Dye's Mother of Pearl. The entire chart is in Dinky Dye's. I do have the full kit of this. This is on 32 count. This is definitely an even weave. It's like a nice dark dye like a linen wood, but it's definitely an even weave. This is 32 count Lugana in Celtic Snow by Live and Dye LA. She custom dyed this piece and did the full kit, and I purchased the whole thing from her. I would love to get some more on this piece. I love stitching with that Mother of Pearl. It's just that when I'm stitching in one color, I get bored with it very quickly. So I haven't stitched on it much. But hey, we're in the middle of a blizzard. It'd be a great time to stitch on that, wouldn't it? All right, so next we're gonna go to the bags. Project Bagged by Me, Marauder's Map. This is not on its Q-snap right now because it did get a page finish. Super wrinkly. Don't care. I didn't iron anything except for my finishes. This is The Possibilities, Evolution's Rainbow, artwork by Walking Melons, Alyssa Gerwig, and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm stitching it 2/2 125 count, easy count Lugana, and I have 6 pages finished. I just finished this page down here with Jolteon, I think like a little over a week ago. So my goal for next year is to get another stripe of pages, four pages. I would love to get 4 pages on this. I love stitching on this piece. It's so colorful. Like the floss box is like luscious. It is so colorful. It's a nice mix of confetti and block stitching. So if I get tired of one, I can go to the other. And so I don't get bored with it very easily. And it's such a cool pattern. That piece is, let me pull up on Pattern Keeper. I can tell you my percentages. It is 12.1% complete. It has 47,000 stitches in it out of 391,000. So it's got about the same number of stitches as Wisdom. It's just a bigger piece. So the percentage isn't as high. All right. What other full coverages do I have in here? I think that's all my Heaven and Earths. Oh wait, nope, just kidding. Because I started a new one. Because I'm insane. This is my first supersize. It is supersize regular color, stitched 1/1 on 28 count white Lugana. This is a stitching shelf by Amy Stewart. This is the version of A Stitch in Time that does not have the logo in the middle that says A Stitch in Time. This is actually the middle. I did a center start because I didn't want to stitch that cherry blossom covered door that everybody stitches. That's all they ever have done. So I started in the middle. I love that you can see the handle of the scissors right here and then the needle with the thread coming around it. There's a dog starting to come in right here, and this corner right here is going to be my first stitcher. She's sitting in a rocking chair with the dog at her feet. So get a little closer so you can see it. My camera's like really far away from me. I had to zoom it in. But there's my progress on it so far. I stitched a lot on this while we were on our cruise in March. Not even sure why. That was just kind of the one that I wanted to work on. And it currently has 4,362 stitches in it, which is 0.61% complete. So I'm not even 1% complete on this. This is going to be like a lifetime project if it ever gets done. But I do love stitching on it. It is crazy confetti, but it's kind of worth it because like when I finally got that pair of scissors finished, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's so pretty. All right, next full coverage. There we go. This is my first non-Haid large full coverage. This is Anna and Elsa. And this is charted by Z Anna Designs. I have 3 pages finished. This was my New Year, New Start this year. It is, let's see, 7.66% complete. I have 11,986 stitches put in out of 156,000. And give me just a second, I will show you what it will look like. I am almost to the start of the actual picture. So this is what it will look like. Ooh, glare, there we go. And I am up here in this corner here. I've got these 3 pages finished. In the next page over, I will start seeing Anna's hair. So there's that. This is another one I enjoy stitching on. It is extremely confetti heavy in these leaves. Like, I was not expecting that much confetti. It's as bad or worse than the Amy Stewart pattern on the confetti in the leaves. But then you get into the block stitching and it's just like, whew, okay. So again, it's a nice mix. Plus I love everything frozen. So of course I wanna get that one finished. Oh, I haven't been showing my project bags. So this is a vinyl front project bag that I made. Obviously frozen. The needle minder on here is Anna, and that is from Stitch and Button. Stitch and Time is in my Scuba Santa bag. I showed this last year. I don't remember who made this. I thought it had a label on it, but it does not. I bought it at StitchCon 2021. Alright, and then this is my last full coverage piece, I believe. No, almost. Project bag that I made. Very first vinyl front project bag I ever made. I showed this in my last video. It has a crooked zipper, which is pretty funny. Some papers behind this. This is Alexandrite by Carolyn Manning. It's my first Carolyn Manning. It's on 18 count Aida, 2/1. I decided I want to do this on Aida because this is just like mindless stitching. I love stitching this on planes. When I'm watching TV and don't want to have to pay a lot of attention to my stitching because it's very repetitive patterns. Hi, Oscar. So this one's like a really, really easy stitch. Alexandrite is my birthstone. I wear an Alexandrite ring on my right hand. What I think is cool about this chart is if you notice, it's all like blues and purples. No, don't knock my light over. It's all in purples and greens. That's what I was trying to say. Purples and greens. Alexandrite is one of the few color changing stones. It changes color depending on the lighting conditions. So right now mine is more of a turquoisey color. In direct sunlight, it'll be like bright turquoise. And then under incandescent lights, it's very bright, like a dark purple. So I'm a June baby. June has multiple birthstones, but Alexandrite is my favorite. And I do wear, like I said, I wear it. It's also in I have it in my engagement ring as well. I'm going to pull this one out because it is also technically full coverage. It's one of a couple of them in here that I have. This was a new start this year. Oh. Well, that's interesting. I had 2 pieces in here and didn't realize it. I wondered what happened to one of them. So this is a new start this year. All wrinkled up, sorry. This is Woodland Enchantress. Dimensions Gold kit. I am stitching it with kit fabric and kit floss. This is how far I am on it. Just her skirt. This one's fun to stitch. It's just not a priority to me, so I just kind of, I never think about it. Needle minder here I got at StitchCon 2021. So it's the sign for Hogsmeade, and it says please preserve this, please respect the spell limit. That hangs above the entrance to Hogsmeade at Universal, and I used to walk under that sign every day when I worked there. So I was like, ah, that's so cool. I also have one that I got at StitchCon that was, it's the front of the building of Ollivanders. And I used to, one of my work locations was Ollivander's one shop, so that was fun. So this is a WIP that was carried over. This is another full coverage, Another Dimensions gold kit. This is Aurora Cabin. I get the glare off of it. I did a pretty significant amount of progress on this year. So the cabin is completely done. Gosh, that's a big old crease in the middle of it. That's all right. That's all right. You guys can see it still. So the cabin is completely done, backstitched and all. And then all the trees around it are also done. Only thing I haven't put in is there's a section of Krynic up here in the chimney that I haven't done. That's the only part of the cabin that's not done is that chimney, or the smoke coming out of the chimney. A majority of this is in half cross. Like all the trees are half cross. All the snow across the bottom is half cross. Well, not all of it actually. Most of the snow's full cross, but all the trees are half cross, and then the sky will be with anywhere from 3, 4, sometimes 5 strands. I'm not bothered by that like a lot of people are, and I think mainly because like they include this like massive needle, big old tapestry needle, with the kit, and I have no problem getting it through with all the threads. I don't know. I just don't have a problem with it. So I stitched it as designed. Needle minder down here. That's Maleficent. She's my favorite Disney villain. My car is named Maleficent. My Camaro is. That came from Live and Die LA. I feel like I'm rushing through this. I have no idea how long I've been recording. I'm too far away from my camera to see it. So these are in this final front project bag here. This is by Bell Stitches Pirates. This is a custom ordered bag. I showed this in my last video. I intended for it to be the Pirates of the Caribbean sal from Ketty at Supernatural Stitches. I have not started that sal, so I have other projects that live in it. Okay. Moving on along. I want to make sure I don't have any more full coverages hiding somewhere. I don't think I do. Well, if I do, we'll get to them when I get to them. That's alright. Okay. Next is another new start for this year. I didn't show this on my plans for this year. I don't believe. I may have. I don't have the cover photo for it. I ran copies of it out of a magazine, but you can kind of see down here. This is Magical Night by Teresa Winsler. You can kind of see it down there. My cat ate it. That's Gracie. Gracie like chewed a piece out of my pattern. I was like, what are you doing? This is Stitch 2/2. Called for DMCs with all of the million blends. This is Winterbrook, 32 count. Are you Lugana? Yeah, you are. 32 count Lugana by Under the Sea Fabrics. That is how far I am. So that's just the front of the sleigh. I did a center start, which happened to be the Pegasus tail right here. I think that's really pretty. It's just, if I'm counting stitches for any reason, this one's just like kind of a pain because of all those partial stitches. She has a lot of Krynic. There's all of her Krynics. I do have them all. And those are all her DMCs. So she's a hefty project. She's not my first Wentzler. My first Wentzler was the Castle, which is I think most people's first Wentzler. And I stitched it on 18 count Aida when I was like 20. So I'm totally not afraid of stitching Wentzlers. I'm not afraid of blends. I'm not afraid of partial stitches, you know, anything like that. This is in a project bag that I made, final front project bag. It does It's not on this one for some reason, but it does have a matching Grime Guard and matching Notions tote, and I have them all kind of scattered all over the place. Eventually I'm going to actually start selling my bags. I just never have time to dedicate to making them. Okay, another new start because I started all the things this year if you didn't notice. I'm going to pop this one off the top of the Q-snap just because I am almost done with it. This is Temperature Bookshelf by Christie's Corner Needlework. There it is. I did change a lot of the knickknacks on the shelves. And then this is charted for the high temperatures in Huber Heights, Ohio, which is where we live right now. I wanted to do one this year because like our temperatures were like absolutely insane. So like you can see like in here, like our lowest temperature followed by like a high temperature, like literally those many days apart. That was 16 degrees and this was like 71. It was insane. And then it's proving to do the same thing down here in September. We have hit a new low temperature. I'm going to have to come up with a new low because I only took my temperature chart down to I think 12 degrees and it was -7 today. So yeah, not sure I'm gonna do that, but some of the changes I made, I've got this little cruise ship right here because my husband and I went on a cruise in March, and that looks like our ship. We went on the MSC Meraviglia. I changed here in June. This was originally I think a hummingbird. I switched it out for a rainbow for Pride. I'm also gonna add a little birthday cake I think here on this little stack of books. I'm gonna add a little birthday cake because I'm a June baby. In July, I'm so proud of this one. Look at this cute little kitty cat. That's Gracie, because we got Gracie in July. And so I put Gracie on my bookshelf and I custom charted her, and I'm so proud of that. So I'm currently stitching in October. I haven't decided what knickknack I'm going to put in October yet. My husband and I had our 10th anniversary this year on October 7th. So I want to do something related to our anniversary there on the October shelf. That is going to hopefully be finished this year. It takes me about 2, maybe 3, I'd say probably 3 days of solid stitching to finish one shelf. So I want to get it to the point where like all I have to do in December or on New Year's is just like that little bit of December shelf and hopefully already have its knickknack on it so that it can be finished on New Year's. This is in... Oh, that's stitched 2/2 on 32 count, just plain white Lugana. This is in a, oh, and that's that matching Grime Guard. If you didn't notice, that's that matching Grime Guard for the last bag. This is in an Alair Designs bag that I got at Stitching in the Springs this year. It is stunning. I mean, look at that. That's Josephine Wall on the back. It's got not only a zipper, it's got grommets. And then it also has double layered vinyl on the front. So it has a snap right here. And then I keep my pattern, like my temperatures and my additional knickknack patterns here in this front pocket, which is, it's just, this is like one of the best made bags I've ever seen in my life. I love it. It's embroidered around the design on the back. It's just so gorgeous. This is such a well-made bag. Everything that's a WIP in that bag. Let's see what I've got in this bag, because this bag has a lot of things that are hidden up. Really, kids? They're knocking things over. I showed this last year. I haven't touched it since, so I'm just going to hold it up real quick. This is Carousel by Rayolas. I've pulled it off of its scroll frame. It's going to get worked in a Q-snap. I have not put a single stitch in this year. I would like to get at least a couple stitches in once I get my temperature bookshelf to a finished point. To where all I need is the last couple days of the year, but we'll see. It just hasn't been a priority for some reason. It is in a stitch and button bag with vintage Simplicity patterns on it, and this was a gift from Tiffany at Topher's World. I'm just gonna set all my ones that are kitted up over here. Good Lord. A lot of these are like to be started. Here we go. All right, so this is this doesn't have a cover photo, it's just the pattern, so I'm going to just kind of flash it. I'm changing all the colors. It's Good Vibes, Good Coffee by Sweet Stitch Art on Etsy. I am stitching this for one of my best friends. And I am changing the colors out. So I'm doing where it says Vibes and Coffee. And I think I may do even more of that, is in this luscious rainbow Silks for You silk. Beautiful. And then I've got, this is Gentle Art Espresso Bean and Weeks Dye Work Chestnut that I'm going to use to make the little coffee cup and the outline around the word good. This is stitched on, this is a 28 count Lugana in, I want to say buttercream. Buttercream, butterscotch, buttercream, I'm pretty sure. It is an opal Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. And you can see that's all the further I've got. It's, the camera's washing it out. It's a really, really nice, like, buttery yellow, because my best friend's favorite color is yellow. And that is in this Stitch and Button Pride bag. I'd like to get that one done for him for his birthday in February, because he just got his own house. It's his first house. So I would really love to have that done for him. Staying in his new house. It's not started. That's the beads for Celtic Snow. Here we go. This is one that I showed that I was going to start. This is by Stitch Rovia. I am stitching it on a very small Q-snap. So I'm going to have to pull it off, or at least part way off, so you can see it. This is Be So Awesome, People Think You're a Myth with a narwhal on it. And I am stitching it on 32 count linen, white opalescent. And I do have, you're not going to see it very well. I'll see what I can do with this. I'm going to dismantle my Q-snap, that's fine. There we go. Okay. So I do have it, the bottom half of it done. This is a lot of color changes. Lots and lots and lots of color changes. I work on this, of all places. This is what I work on when I have to go to the doctor and I'm sitting in the waiting room. This is a really nice piece to work on because I can start and stop it really quickly and really easily. I don't count my stitches on it, just because it would be a pain in the butt. There's a ton of back stitching and a ton of partials, and so I don't count my stitches on it. So if I just like need something that's not necessarily mindless, but that I don't have to worry about, oh, I need to keep track of how many stitches I put into this. Like I said, at doctor's offices, it's a really good piece to do that with. I sometimes will stitch on this on planes too, but I don't like doing things that have that many color changes on a plane just because it's kind of a pain in the butt. I prefer to do block stitching. I'm doing this all in the Charted DMC. I do have the étoile that it suggests for some of the colors. You can, it's like you can replace it with étoile. Stop eating my bag. Stop it. It's Gracie. She's a demon. Like, we call her Tiny Demon. That's like, she's just into everything. There's my Notions tote that matches that bag. So now we have seen the tote, the bag, the Notions tote, and the grime guard that all match, and they're all on 3 different projects. I did make the grime guard that's on there, that teal grime guard. I think I made all of my grime guards pretty much. This is in a project bag by Crafty Kara that I got at StitchCon 2021. Love the music note. I have my threads for my temperature bookshelf are in the matching Notion tote for this, because apparently I can't keep sets together. Stop eating my, stop it. She's eating my project bags. She likes the zipper pulls. Okay. I actually have no idea what are in most of these, so that's why I'm slowly starting to switch over to vinyl front cover bag, vinyl front project bags, because I can remember what's in each one. Okay, so this is Death by Cross Stitch. I've got a bit done on it. I did these vertical rows and this across here on the bottom. This is stitched 1/1 on 25 count Lugana in Midsummer Dream by Under the Sea. And I am stitching it in this beautiful Silks For You color. It's all these purples and blues and a little bit of pink, like a dark pink. I've been considering doing what Sammy J and Sarah King did, where they took a piece and divided it into 12 sections and finished one section a month to finish a piece in a year. I've been considering doing that with Death by Cross Stitch. It may not be this year though, because I've got a big project I want to work on that I'm starting. My New Year New Start is a fairly big project. So this is in a bag by me. Very first project bag I ever made. Beauty and the Beast. Gracie. She's right in the middle of my pile now. Okay. This was a new start this year. I showed this on my last video. I showed the floss toss of it actually. So this is, there it is. This is Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. I am color converting it. This is on an unnamed 32 count Lugana from Live and Die LA. And I am converting her to a purple dress with teal ribbons instead of a light teal dress with light purple ribbons. So here's where I've gotten on her. I struggle with her because I'm not happy with the conversion yet. I feel like the color changes are too stark in some places and not obvious enough in others. I want her main color of her dress to be that darker purple. So like this section of the bodice up here, I ripped and restitched that probably 5 or 6 times trying to find a color combination that I liked. And I'm still, now that I haven't looked at it in a while, I'm not as unhappy with it, but I think the change right here is too stark. And I don't like this lightest color here, which I believe is 552. I think it's too light. I don't know. It's one of those, you're your English critic, and color conversions are never going to be perfect. Because I looked up the color conversion for where somebody converted red into purple and kind of based my ideas off of it, but it had fewer colors in it. Like Garden Prelude has a lot of colors in it, so I've had to do some blends, and it's just, you know, it's my struggle recipes, that's for sure. Okay, is that everything? That's everything. Wow. The only other one that I have is, this is a Mill Hill kit that I worked on for one day and then promptly lost, and then was going to pull out again in December. Couldn't find it. I literally found it right before this video. So this is Winter Key, Mill Hill, and that's all I got. That's it. Not very impressive. I have a ton of Mill Hills. Like, it's a problem. I actually have my box of Mill Hills right here because I wanted to show you guys my Mill Hill collection because it's ridiculous. And so I think next year I'm going to start trying to get some Mill Hill finishes. So since I talked about that, look, Gracie's laying on one of my bags. I got this little box from Joann's, and I discovered that for the ornament Mill Hills, look how perfectly they fit. Isn't that great? Oh, hey, I've got a needle laying here. I thought that came out of Winter Key. That's a big needle, so I would bet anything that's from Winter Key. Let's stick it back in here. So these are all my small ornaments. And I've got, this is an old one, Golden Lattice Heart. Gosh, how do I show these without the glare? Maybe. There we go. And these have just been kind of collected from all over the place. Fall Tree. Sea Turtle. Wendy's Cat. Wacky Wendy. Gold Crystal Snowflake. I have Amethyst Crystal Snowflake on the way. Love Halloween. I already did Love Stitching, which is the other little heart. Holiday Flamingo, Grandpa's Tractor, violin, which we've already talked in one video that I play viola, so this will be a viola. Taco, because who doesn't need a stitch taco? Tricolor pansy. Pansies are my favorite flower, and that's my favorite color of them. Snowman globe. Rubber duck. I collect rubber ducks. I actually have a whole Christmas tree of them. Ice skates. I learned how to ice skate in 2020. No, 2019 was when I started ice skating. I have not been skating this year because I had knee surgery last year. December of last year I had knee surgery, and I've been too scared to get back on the ice ever since then. And then my last one in here is Apple Harvest. So you can tell I love fall, so I have a lot of fall ones. Oh, Gracie, you're a loaf, and you're right on my bag I need. Excuse me, thank you. Another project bag by me. I've decided to put all my bigger mill hills in here. So these are all like, but a lot of them are buttons and beads. This isn't even all of them, actually. This is nowhere even close to all of them. This is You Rescued Me, and it's got a white shepherd on it, and I'm going to stitch this in memory of my white shepherd Heidi, who passed away in 2018. This is Winter Stag, Crystal Snowflake, and Caribbean Santa. I know I've got another Santa because there was a Santa that had a white shepherd that I stitched last year. It's got a companion piece called Christmas Morning. And then I also have this one in here, which is all together now. Because again, I play viola. This is the clef that viola plays in, the alto clef. And I've got it kitted up with, this is Sugar Plum from Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm going to change out the colors because the color of the viola is purple. It's going to be stitched in Calliope and Witch's Socks. So I'm going to do the Witch's Socks as the actual main part, and then all of these little flourishes are going to be Calliope. Eventually. It's been kitted for like 2 years now, so you know how that goes. Okay. My larger project, Gracie, please stop eating. She's eating my bag. Like there's a cat attached to my bag. Hi, Oscar. Please don't knock my drink off. I have stuff everywhere. This is ridiculous. I should put some of this stuff back in my bag. Hey, stop it! And now my stuff's on the floor. That's why I need to put it back in my bag or my box. Okay, so things that I'm going to start in January of next year. My New Year, New Start. I'm very, very excited for her. I wanted to wait until I finished a Fancy Lady before I started a Fancy Lady, and then I'm going to start 3 Fancy Ladies, so it's fine. This is Mayari, Deity of the Moon. She is from Bella Filipina. She will be my first Bella. I do have her fully kitted. Here are all of her Krynics. I don't have her fully kitted. I don't have her beads, but these are her Krynics. It's not very many of them. And then I am stitching it on the called for fabric. This is a 28 count. I'm going to pull it out, and you guys will just have to listen to crinkling. This is a half yard of it, so. Ooh, it's so big. Look at how gorgeous that fabric is. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm gonna have to like cut it down though, because like I don't want to use all of it. I don't want to center start and like waste a bunch of fabric because this is beautiful. This is 28 count linen opalescent in Cosmos by Be Stitch Me, and this is my first Be Stitch Me fabric. I'm glad I got the 28 count, not just because her beads will fit better, but because I learned my lesson with doing high counts in dark opalescent fabrics with that 36 count Galaxy. So hopefully that one's not nearly as hateful to stitch on. This is in a stitch and button bag. It's really pretty Asian floral pattern. This reminds me of the dishes we had growing up. And it came, I got the matching Flosstube. So it's a thread catcher. It just snaps together and it's got fleece on the inside. So you can take your orts and just kind of stick them on there and they stick. So if you're travel stitching, which I do a lot of, I can just snap it together and there's all my orts all kept together. The other fancy lady I'm going to be starting is also in a stitch and button bag. And she is Luna Mystica, also Bella Filipina. I have her threads almost fully kitted. I am missing one of the Rainbow Gallery threads. I have tried two different LNSs and 123 Stitch, have all been sold out of it. Every time I've checked, I now have an email, like, I don't know what you call it, where it'll notification set up when 123 Stitch gets it back in. She does have all of her Caron water lilies, and she also has all of her Krynics, which she has the coolest Krynic I've ever seen. I'm like super excited to stitch with this. This is 001L. It is holographic silver, and I know this camera's not going to pick it up, but if you hold it up next to like a regular silver, you can kind of see it. It has like sparkles of other colors in it. It's really cool. It calls for all of these silvers in Krynic. And then the Petite Treasure braids are all like purples and pinks, like really pale purples and pinks. She's gonna be really pretty. I don't like her on that brown fabric. I think that is like the worst fabric choice they could have made for the cover photo. So I am going to stitch it on, this is 32 count linen in the Deep from Live and Die LA. This beautiful dark blue. And like all these colors are just gonna pop. All that dark color. I also would like to do some of their sister pieces. I have Hanan. She's the deity of the morning. She's one of the sister pieces of Mayari. She has 3 companions. She's the deity of the moon. There's also the deity of the sun, the deity of the morning, and the deity of the evening, I believe. Stop eating. She's attached to my back again. She eats everything. I don't get it. She just has to eat everything. Now she's laying on my finishes. I tell her all the time she's so lucky that she's so daggone cute. She's very snuggly too. Hey, baby. You're like, what? This isn't what I wanted. But I mean, look how cute she is. She's such a sweetie. And she's very snuggly. She was a farm cat. She was on my mother-in-law's farm. And usually farm cats out there are very antisocial. But she was super, super snuggly, and my husband kept sending me pictures of her every time he'd go out there. And I was like, so when is the kitten coming home? And so she came home when she was about probably 12 weeks when Nick brought her home. And the reason she's named Gracie is because she's the least graceful cat I've ever seen in my life. She falls off of everything. Everything. I've never seen such a not graceful kitten. So that's why she's named Gracie. All right, next one. Next fancy lady. So she has a story behind her. And I'm gonna show you real quick the picture of why I got this. This is Belinda's fault. Belinda Aussie Stitcher. This is her fault. Because I saw her in Belinda's WIP parade. And I immediately thought of the perfect place to put her in our new house. And then like I couldn't get that idea out of my mind. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna stitch her to put in our new house. So our house has these gorgeous, it's like a grand staircase, honestly. And it's this gorgeous original wood staircase that has a landing and then turns and goes up to the up to the second floor. And then it has another similar setup up to the third floor. It's a 2.5 story house. It's got a finished third floor with like the sloped ceilings. So on the landing between the first and second floor is this beautiful window seat. It is one of the original windows of the house from 1917. It's an old wood window. It's one of those window seats that like lifts up and has storage under it. I need to make a cushion for it because the sellers did take the cushion with them. But when I saw this on Belinda's WIP parade, I immediately said this needs to go in my staircase next to the window seat, because the first thing I said when I saw that window seat was like, wow, I could see myself spending so much time curled up there with a book. So this is the reader from Joan Elliott, and notice she's sitting here on her little cushion surrounded by pillows, exactly like my window seat will be. So I'm going to stitch her, and I'm going to hang her up on in the stairwell next to my window seat, where I will probably stitch her and also do a lot of reading. I want to start her actually in the new house, which we are not fully moved in yet. We're just starting to move stuff over because we just closed on Thursday. We actually closed exactly a week ago. So we haven't moved much over there in the way of furniture, but I want to start her actually in our new house. I'm going to stitch her just on the white. I may see if I have some off-white. I think she really needs like an ivory. I'm going to stitch her on 32 count Lugana. I do have her beads. I also have her Krynic. So she is, once I pick my fabric, she will be ready to start. And then my other two that I have laying here that are ready to start. This is another one that's only a pattern, so I'm just going to hold it up real quick. It says, if you can't make your own neurotransmitters, store-bought is fine. I have ADHD. I talked about that in my last video. I am now medicated for it. So my neurotransmitters come from a bottle that is going to be stitched on. I have no earthly idea what this fabric is. Looks like a 28 count linen. It's an opal. I have no earthly idea what it is. It's probably a scrap piece that I got from somewhere. Yeah, no idea what it is. But it's a gray. It's a nice ice gray. This is a fully kitted project ready to go. It is in another stitch and button bag. Farmall tractors. My husband's from a farming family. I think I've mentioned that before. And they are Farmall people. So anything with a tractor on it, if it ain't red, leave it in the shed. And then this is the last kitted one I'm going to show you, because I really want to start this, and I just never get around to it. I've carried it with me like multiple times to start, and I just haven't actually started it. That is Autumn Lane Stitchery Current Mood Cat. And I have it fully kitted. It's going to go on this piece of, this is, sorry for that little blip there. Apparently the kitten unplugged my camera and the battery died. So, oops. Okay, so what I was going to say, Autumn Lane Stitchery, going to be stitched on 32 count opalescent linen in Sea Witch. Ooh, that's way more blue on the camera. Yeah, that's pretty close. I've got a daylight ring light, and this camera usually does pretty good with picking up colors. But this is a nice, like, nice reddish purple. And like I said, I carry this one around with me. It has gone on vacation with me with the intention of starting it, and I just, for some reason, haven't. In a stitch and button bag. This is cool. Dragons. And it's got flames on the inside, which is very cool. So that is all of my WIPs, and that is also all of my planned starts. I still have that huge bag of starts that I went through at the end of last year. I have added to it quite a few. I am calling that bag my sooner rather than later. Anything in there is on my list to start at some point, but I don't have set plans. Anything that is in a project bag is like, that is definitely getting started next year. Like I said, I'm starting Mayari, Deity of the Moon. She's gonna be my new start. And then as soon as I have my stitching stuff moved into the house, I'll be starting Joan Elliott's The Reader. Luna Mystica, I'll start whenever I'm in the mood for a new start. I'm honestly in the mood for a new start right now because I just finished Monk's Hood. But I want to finish my Temperature bookshelf too. So I really thought I had more WIPs than this. I started a lot of stuff this year, but I also finished a good chunk of what I did start. And I also finished 2 that carried into this year. Not as good as last year. Last year I had 11 finishes. This year I had 6. So with that, I will let you guys look at my husband's beautiful paintings again. He's been adding to them. There's one on the other side of the camera now. I already know which room I will be doing my floss tubes in because it has so much natural light. But I don't know when I will have that set up. I'm hoping that, like, because I'm not going to be as buried in work, that hopefully I might actually have time to record. It's just a whole process. It's a whole day thing. Same thing with dyeing fabric. I mentioned that in my last video that I had not dyed any fabric in over a year. I still have not, because in order to dye fabric here at this house, I have to do it in my kitchen, and it is a whole day process, and I lose access to my kitchen. I have to lay down drop cloths. I have to be really careful not to spill anything. It's just like a big headache. So one of the things that we were looking for when we moved, I specifically wanted a place to dye fabric. Our house has a finished base, or it's an unfinished basement, but it has a utility sink. It has a big open area. It's got a fluorescent light over one of the areas. And I saw that and I went, this is where I can dye fabric. This is perfect. And so I will have a dedicated area in my house where I can dye fabric and not be in the way and not have to deal with doing it in the kitchen. And the washing machine will be right there. And it's going to be so nice. Like, my husband's like really, really, really excited for me to have that specific area to dye fabric. And I'm going to buy a ping pong table. I discovered that was a good idea to do, to lay all of my fabric out on to cut. And that way I'm not having to cut it on the same table that I use my sewing machine on. And again, not having to share a space with dyeing my fabric and other things will make it such an easier process, because then if I need to just shut the basement door and leave it overnight, no problem. So I can, like, start a dye batch after work, shut the door, come back to it the next day. Because I often do that. I'll leave my dye sitting, I'll leave my fabric sitting in the dye for like a day. Just because I feel like the colors come out more vibrant that way. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to have a sewing room upstairs, for my sewing machine, and, my Cricut is going to have a dedicated place. My husband's building shelves for me in my sewing room specifically for my fabric. Since I'm not trying to, like, do anything that has to be undone, because this is a rental, and so everything we did had to be, like, removable, so we never, like, installed anything permanent. He's going to install actual shelves for my fabric containers and shelves for my bolts. And so it'll be, right now I have a stack of fabric containers that is literally as tall as I am, and in order to get into them you have to, like, unstack down to the box that you want. And he's going to build me shelves that I can just pull the box out, pull out what I need, put the box in. So that's for anything that's too small of a cut to put on a bolt. Anything 2 yards or larger, I just put on a bolt. So I'm going to have a wall of fabric bolts, which will be super, super awesome. All right. Well, my husband just called me a little while ago. He's actually over at the new house. He's been doing some cleaning over there. He decided to stay the night last night there during the blizzard, because he's like, he felt weird about the house being empty in this bad of weather, because this is the worst winter storm we've had in a very long time. And he was concerned about leaving the house empty, and I was like, well, I'm not leaving the animals alone. So he stayed the night over there, I stayed the night over here, and I was like, hey, this is the perfect time to record a Flosstube. So I'm going to work on getting this uploaded, edited and uploaded. It will probably not go up tonight. I am off work the next 2 days, so hopefully it will go up either around or before Christmas. And again, hopefully I will also have time and space in the new house to actually record some floss tubes. I think if I work on not making them so long and such a process, I think it will make it easier for me to record them. I have thought about doing them just on my phone, like doing short ones so I can get an update up. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. All right. Well, thank you for sticking with me through this super, super, super long video. And this is now I'm gonna call it now, the first Flosstube I have ever done that Candy did not make an appearance. We had Oscar and we had Gracie, and those were the only two kitties. I don't think I've ever done one without Candy. That's alright. She's cold. She gets cold easily, and last I saw her she was under a blanket in my bed and like had her nose tucked under a blanket, and I was like, my poor baby, she's cold. So she's probably still curled up under the blanket. Alright, well, I wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate, Happy New Year, and I will see you guys all in the new year in my new house. Bye!